This is a webcast on Jira Agile Scrum Project Management. Today we're going to talk about teammates that have different work styles and how to use Agile and Jira to make everyone more effective. We're going to talk about custom workflows that can help a team solve problems and become better and more effective. Jira and Agile can accommodate many different work styles, workflows, and even different industries. But many people don't think about the workflows that can help certain types of people to be more effective. Today, I'll be focusing on helping a company build a better process around how their people work. I've seen a lot of teams that work in different ways and encounter different problems. There's a lot of power dynamics in some teams, for example. There are teams with some people overstretched and having to switch between many different projects and commitments. And then there are teams that have members that underpromise and accomplish more than they promise, and some team members that overpromise and often don't get everything done. The project managers out there will probably be able to tell you each of their team members and which team member overpromises and which team member underpromises and who is able to consistently respond to issues and requests and who maybe can't get to those issues and requests as quickly. Often I've heard from project managers, oh, this guy estimates really well. So we're going to talk about a few ways to get Jira to help to improve everyone's effectiveness and productivity. The first demonstration is going to come from this project demo we've set up. It's a simple project building a game called Angry Nerds. There's a good amount of issues here broken into several teams. So let's look at this board. This is the physics team for our game. Let's talk about a team member that often gets blocked and doesn't move forward on assignments or tasks or issues. And often you don't find out until the next stand-up meeting or until the next project review or the next sprint review or a serious missed deadline. One of the things you can do in Jira is you start with a standard workflow and then you find a way to get notified immediately when such a problem happens. So let's first look. This is the backlog of things to do. And this is in progress, and some things will be done. So what happens when Justin Leader is assigned to this issue? So Justin encounters a problem, and he's being blocked because he doesn't have the interface art that he needs. It's not done yet. Now, when your team members are blocked, right from their desk, they can drag this issue into a custom blocked issue status that we've created in Jira. Now, what we mean by blocked is that they can't keep working until someone or something changes and unblocks them. And this custom setup asks, hey, who's blocking you? Well, I know Rachel does the concept art. And you might actually put this in the comments section. And in the description, you might have already had this description. And so we tell the system, hey, this Jira user is the one that's blocking. And this is a custom workflow that we've created and added to Jira that allows you to notify that person, hey, I think you're blocking this, or you're blocking me. Now you'll notice that Justin, in this case, is still the assignee on the task because we've decided that it's still a task for me and that's how we want this workflow to work, but it's just being blocked by someone else. Now, when you view the issue, you'll see the entire history of this issue and who Justin has identified as a blocker. You can see that I've indicated Rachel Ray is the blocker. Now, one of the things I'd like to do is make sure that the blocker gets notified. In this workflow, Rachel Ray will get an email that says, Justin Leader has indicated that you are blocking this issue AN19. And I can enter, as a programmer, I need concept art. And it'll also add that to the email. And it gives me the opportunity to attach something to the issue. I can attach a comment or a description. Now let's take a look at another possible workflow issue that Jira and Agile together can help solve. Here's a different board. This is a sprint of some issues that are being worked on to create the levels for Angry Nerds. This team might have a power differential between some of the members. And say one of them's a manager who's overworked, and you've seen that reviews don't get done on time, and it's blocking the completion of the sprint. So this is a workflow that has a discipline or a department lead that needs to review issues before they are approved. This can be a lead designer that controls the levels, or a lead QA, or a product owner, and getting their attention can sometimes be difficult. Because she's overworked and sees things on a high level, she might not know what to look at next or what to review next. It's very easy for us to create a column in Jira that does different things than even the blocked column from the last example. And the controls for these columns are very granular and very programmable. So this workflow that we're looking at allows us to control what she sees and allows the manager to focus on the things she needs to review. So let's say, for example, that I've been working on this issue, repeatable bird, and I know it's ready to be reviewed. I move it over to the to review by lead designer column, and you can see that there's a message showing that this issue has been sent to Rachel and Justin as a Jira issue for review. Not only does she get an email reminding her that this has just been changed, but it's always in this column until she deals with it, and she can move it over to done. Also, you can attach items for review, or if you need to put it in the description, or a pointer to a source version control item. So Rachel, the approver, would log in and see the things that she needs to review. She can move things back and say, hey, this isn't done. Why don't you work on this again and write a comment? Or she can move them to done and approve them. That's one of the ways we can get everyone knowing on the team what's going on and let people see what's relevant to them. No wondering or worrying that you haven't seen something that other people expect you to have seen. And you'll notice that we're not just assigning issues to other users. We're making something a little more complex. Our team here has decided that we don't just assign an issue to a manager when it's ready for review, because we want the assignee right there on the surface, the original worker. So here, it's this special column for the manager. And there are custom notifications that are customizable per team for this type of workflow. So let's examine another team's concerns. For example, on the physics agile board, sometimes we have teammates who are routinely underestimating and not completing tasks. Well, how can Jira help them? And how can you, as a project manager, help them? Well, often you'd want to constrain the amount of things that they can commit to in a sprint, perhaps the duration of time estimated or the amount of story points they've committed to, because they have long lead times and they're way behind. So we can have a control that says, oh, you can only do a certain amount of issues and a maximum amount of estimated time or story points. And we can limit those sprints. And we can limit how many issues go into each status at a time. So we'd prevent, for example, a user from moving 10 issues into the in-progress status at a time and nothing ever gets out of that status. So if he's going to say, I'm working on these 2 issues, he can't work on a third until at least one of them is moved to done. So overall, these are just some simple ways that you can address the different needs of each of your teams. And certainly these are not an exhaustive list of possibilities in Jira. These are just to get you started to think about what do you need for your workflow and how can Jira help your team. And then we can find a way to mimic that behavior and to make that more effective inside of Jira. And you start with a basic Jira workflow and you identify what might be going wrong and you use these tools to fix your problems. And these are just the most popular customizations that we've found that teams need. And just this little bit of organization is something that people find that is easy to understand, and it provides a lot of benefit. And when that happens, people are going to use this tool, and people are really going to enjoy and find rewarding getting clear information about what they're supposed to do. Well, that's the end of this podcast. Please send us any questions or ideas for other customizations you'd like to see or that you've used for yourself. And we'll try and get right back to you. Thanks.